Hello, I'm Dave Sparks. I'm the Communications Director for the Emporia State University Foundation, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to Dr. John Rich, one of the co-chairs of the Now and Forever campaign that Emporia State's Foundation has embarked on this year. Dr. Rich, no stranger to Emporia State, we are very grateful for you agreeing to co-chair the Now and Forever campaign. What is it about this university that makes you want to be a part of the campaign?
Well, as you indicated, I've been at Emporia State for a long time. Having arrived as a faculty member in 1968, it's really encompassed my life, and it represents, my life work. And it's not only my life, it's my family, and so it's very, very meaningful to me, and has been very meaningful to me, and has enriched my life greatly. And if whatever I can do to assist the university to move forward in all ways possible, I'm more than happy to do that. And I don't know exactly what I can do, but I will do whatever I can.
You bet, you bet. At the 150th Gala, where we formally introduced the campaign co-chairs, you took a page out of the Gabe and Benny song, the "Our Time." It's our time to make a difference, I guess. Can you talk a little bit about what you were thinking there, the tying in, your service and the fact that it is Emporia State's time to shine?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've had the good pleasure to know Benny. I was sponsor of AKL for a while, and until the last couple of years, and Benny is an AKL, and so I was particularly pleased when their song got the attention it got, and I've had a lot of fun with him about that. And I think I'm going to read these. I wrote it down so I would get it correct. But the words in the song say, part of the words say, "I'm tired of waiting for my time, of never taking the lead. Our time is right now." And they are speaking in terms of the university. It's time for the university to go to the next level, to take a major step, and that we have all this potential that we need to exploit and take advantage of, and to move the university forward in academics and athletics, and our contribution to the state and to our community. And they were speaking from the point of view of from a university. Not they were speaking for the university, but they were speaking about the university. To me, what I was trying to say was, I think it is our time, my time, to take more responsibility and to take a role in this process, because if I'm ever going to do it, now is the time. Sure. Now is the time. And it has meant so much to me, and so I think if I'm ever going to be involved and to contribute in this way, that this is the right time. I don't know how much I have to contribute, but I think it's my time. And what I really wanted to say to that group was, I think it's your time as well. I think it's our time to step up and do what we can to promote this great school that has meant so much to all of us and has so much unfulfilled potential to move it forward. So I was trying to kind of use a twist on the words of the university's time, but I also think it's our time. There's many of us who have reaped lots of benefits. Been a great job for me, but I've also had many things beyond a job, beyond pay. It's much more meaningful than pay. And I think for those of us who have shared that experience and received those benefits, it's time for us to do our thing and make our contribution.
I think the tagline for the campaign, "The Silent No More," really speaks to a lot of what Emporia State is about. I mean, we've been accused of hiding our light under the bushel and that kind of thing. And I would assume that you would agree that it's time to ring that bell.
Oh, absolutely. It is time for us to tell our story. And I had a conversation with President Shonrock just an informal conversation about growing up and how we grew up and our different values and those kind of things. You know, and in my family, it was not appropriate to talk about yourself and to brag about yourself, and to if you did something you thought was pretty good, you let other people recognize that it was. You didn't need to tell them. And I think sometimes I've seen that in what's happened at Emporia State, and it's worked to the university's disadvantage. We have so many great stories to tell and so many great things to do that we need to share it in an appropriate way.
We're sitting here in the Kansas Business Hall of Fame in Kramer Hall. It's the place where, you know, the hard work of entrepreneurs from Kansas have been you know, recognized and honored. How do you think that spirit, that creativity, the hard work, the forward thinking, how can that be applied to the Now and Forever campaign?
Well, I do think we are seeing the beginning of it with the leadership, the new leadership in the foundation, that we're thinking differently and we're thinking more aggressively and we're thinking more out of the traditional, doing the same things the same way over and over again. And I think the spirit of entrepreneurship, of maybe taking some educated risk, educated chances, but also approaching it with great energy and commitment and vitality, that the entrepreneurial spirit can certainly impact the success of the campaign. And you know, many of these people, or all of these people in this room, have made great contributions to our state and to the society, and we can learn from their lessons about perseverance, commitment, the fact that, you know, before you succeed, you usually have some failures, and making the best of those failures, learning from them, and what doesn't go well, you figure that out, and then you correct it and go from there and learn from that experience. Not to say that we've had failures, but we haven't fulfilled our potential. And I think the campaign gives us that real opportunity to do that.
Those words that you're speaking sound a lot like I imagine you would use in a classroom here in Kramer Hall. You've had a long career here at Emporia State, as you said, as a professor, as associate dean, assistant dean.
I was associate dean for 17 years.
Right. And now the interim dean of the School of Business.
For another month or two. So.
Okay. What, over that career, what events stick out in your mind as some of the highlights of your years here?
Well, I thought about that question that you had indicated you were going to ask quite a bit, and ultimately, I mean, first and foremost are just the students. You just you cannot escape or deny the relationships with students, and how meaningful and joyous it is to see them grow and develop and become successful and do good things. And even though you have a very tiny little part of it, you still feel a part of it. You still feel connected to it. And you know, after all, it's what it's all about, are the students. You know, for example, on Monday night we have a speaker at our honors banquet who is Diane Thomas Beatty, who is from Hartford, Kansas. Came here right out of high school, did well in school, got a job at Conoco, and then worked at Conoco for many years, did very well, and then Conoco merged with Phillips, and then it was ConocoPhillips, and now they've kind of demerged. But anyway, she is over all of financial reporting for Conoco, and you know, that's what it's all about. Not every student can achieve that level of professional success, and success is not measured altogether by those kind of things. And so, you know, I have other students that do many things, or many alumni who do many things, and some are certainly not at that level professionally, but they have found their place, they're doing their thing, they're contributing to society, they're having a good life, and they're fundamentally good people. So that the students have to be at the center of it. The most significant professional contribution that I feel I've been connected to was the accreditation of the School of Business. That happened in 2002 over a many years of long, hard work of putting things together. And Dean Hashmi, whose picture's hanging up here on the wall, it was the leader of that, and I had the good fortune to work with him for many years, and it brought together many things, faculty, students, resources, programs, and I think really set our school in position for the future and for great things. And so I would think that would be the most significant professional contribution. But my favorite memory will always be the students and the things that they've done.
You bet. Yeah.
So.
I know you maintain contact with your former students.
Try to.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are, and I unfortunately can't remember them all, but they really are my extended family, and many of them are close friends.
Yeah.
So.
What did they tell you about their years at Emporia State?
Well, of course, everyone's experience is different, but I think the common link is they found a place that they were comfortable, and they realized that people cared about them, and that somebody probably took a special interest in them, or helped them in some way, opened a door, or helped them to aspire to greater things than they had aspired to previously, and that it was a very personal experience. They weren't lost in a large number. That most of them feel, or many of them feel, they had a very personal experience, and that people really did care about them. They knew them. They celebrated their successes, agonized with them in their defeats, and I think they felt it truly was a personal experience.
Mm-hmm. Another part of your contribution to ESU has been your service as a faculty advisor for intercollegiate athletics. I don't think I had that on the list of questions, but you've been involved in that for so many years. I wonder if you'd take a couple of minutes and talk about what that involvement has meant for you.
Well, the role is actually called faculty athletics representative, okay. And every institution, particularly every NCAA institution, is required to have one, and in that role you're the liaison really between academics and athletics, and you kind of oversee the integrity of the eligibility and of the athletes to be sure that we're not we're following the rules, right. And we're seeing that we really do have students, and we have students that are athletes and not athletes, period. Mm-hmm. And you get involved in a lot of things like control of the word NCAA uses, compliance, following the rules, recruiting rules, eligibility rules, many, there's thousands of rules. But it's been a truly wonderful experience. I believe I started in 1990, and this will be my 23rd and last year in that role, and it's been hard to give it up because it provides another way to interact with students with a different level, and another way to contribute. And I've had the opportunity to, as FAR, I am one of our 3 representatives to the MIAA, and I've had the chance to be president of the MIAA. I've served on the NCAA Academic Requirements Committee. I was chair of that my last year on the committee. And we were able during that time to raise eligibility expectations at all of our levels to participate in athletics. And that's been very enjoyable and rewarding. But when you get down to it, it's also given me another way to, well, just for example, the senior prom last night is a classic example of what it's all about. It really is. It's a really great event.
Now, some people might not know what you're talking about with the senior prom. Tell us about that activity.
Well, I'd be happy to. It's something I feel very connected to. And it's maybe a longer answer than than you want. A number of years ago, Carmen Leeds, who's our Associate Director of Athletics, got me and two student athletes together, and we went to a leadership conference. And we do that regularly, take an administrator and student athletes to a leadership conference. So we went to this leadership conference, and one of the charges, you do all kinds of different things, but one of the things you're supposed to do is to bring back a service project to your school and your community for the student athletes to carry out. Well, one of the things the three of us came up with was the idea of a senior prom, which is a senior citizens prom. It's focused on senior citizens in your community. And the idea wasn't, someone else had done this at another school, but the idea is that so many of our fans are retired people, are people of a little bit older generation, and how much those athletic events mean to them, that it would be a good way to provide an opportunity for the senior citizens to have a social event and provide a built-in opportunity for them to get to know our student athletes, and our student athletes get to know them. It's a way of giving back to them. I happen to be pretty close to a couple of people that were very interested in, and older people that were very interested in Emporia State Athletics, and gave a lot of money to Emporia State Athletics. And I thought of them, I knew that they would really enjoy it, and as long as they lived, they really did. But it's a very good, heartwarming event.
And you pretty much filled up, was it Webb Hall?
Yes, we had a record crowd last night. Had to bring in more tables. We didn't have enough tables set up, and we were in, we had both Web 1 and Web 2. Of course, you have to have a dance floor. We had a live band. I won't get the name right. It was the Turquoise or something like that, and played music from the 50s and 60s, and had some Elvis music and some all different kinds of music. And
your student athletes are the dance partners for the senior citizens.
Yeah, yes, most. Yes, they are. I mean, there's some couples come and dance together,
Sure.
but the student athletes, well, they have playing cards, and they give them to the people, which tell them who they are and what they do, and they dance with them. And of course, some of these people are in wheelchairs, but they will get them out on the floor and dance with them in their wheelchair, and some of them are in walkers, but then many of them are also quite capable dancers. It's meant for everyone.
Sure.
This year, to me, was the best because we had the best combination of people who live independently in the community, couples that were there, and then we had people from the residential places. But our kids were just great.
Good.
And we had a record attendance.
That's fantastic. This year, we're celebrating Emporia State's 150th anniversary, the big sesquicentennial, and I'm wondering how you think that the gifts people will make to this Now and Forever campaign that we've embarked on as part of the 150th, how will that impact and maybe create the Emporia State of the future?
Well, as we all know, the financing of higher education continues to change, and the financing becomes ever more challenging, and it's certainly going to do that. I'm hoping that we can, and I believe we will, attain the goals of the campaign so that we can assure that the students of the future forever will have the same high quality experience that the students of today have. and that we had. Well, I was never a student here. I've seen the experience that the students have had for since 1968. That's 45 years, and that's almost 1/3 of 150, which is kind of kind of scary at times. But I just believe that we need to put the resource base there so that we are not so impacted by ups and downs of the economy and the ups and downs of funding from sources that we cannot control, so that we can assure that experience. And I think that we will. We have, at least from my perspective, the business school at Emporia State is relatively young compared to the Teachers College, for example. And we are at the point now that we have a significant number, a critical mass of alums that are at the period of time and the place in their life where they have accumulated wealth, or some wealth, or wealth is relative, but they've been able to accumulate some resources that they can afford to dispose of either now or at the end of their life in some other way. And so I think the critical mass is there, and I think the success of our alums is there, that we just need to create the environment and the joy of sharing and contributing that to the university, because it is very joyful in seeing how the money is used and what it goes for, and the benefit that the students and the university receive from those contributions. It should be a real pleasure to contribute.
Yeah. All right. Dr. John Rich, we very much appreciate your service, your stepping up to the plate and helping us out with the Now and Forever campaign as a co-chair, and look forward to great things. Thank you very
Dave.
much.
Appreciate it.